You know, there are a lot of great stories around the Boston Marathon. Thomas Smith is one of them. The Swampscott native is trying to become the first person ever to come back from being paralyzed 3 different times to complete the Boston Marathon. Tomorrow's weather is going to be an obstacle for everyone, but nothing like the obstacles that Thomas has faced getting to this point. Here's his story.
Growing up, my identity was a hockey player.
And Thomas Smith was a very good hockey player from a very young age.
About 12, 13 years old, I started to excel in the select programs. And, one of my goals was to be a collegiate athlete.
So Thomas pursued that goal, going to the Pingree Prep School and then signing a Junior A contract with the Boston Bulldogs. But on August 2nd, 2008, in just his second tournament with the Bulldogs, Thomas had his first accident, jumping over a goalie and going headfirst into the boards.
And I wake up several hours later and I'm learning about this thing called paralysis. So I'm 19 years old and my world is crashing down on me.
So what were the doctors telling you about your chances of playing hockey again?
No shot.
But there was a shot. And after joining the Miami Project for paralysis, 5 months later, Thomas was walking. 9 months later, his doctors told him what he wanted to hear.
They pulled up the scans and said, Tom, if you want to go back to hockey, you can. You are no more susceptible than the average person to get hurt again.
So Thomas began playing hockey again, chasing that dream. But he got hurt again, this time in practice, with a completely different injury, but the same result.
And as soon as I hit the boards, I knew I was paralyzed. I was completely paralyzed from my waist down. And at that point, I knew with, little to no movement in my toes or whatnot that hockey was out of the question.
But life was not out of the question. And with that hockey player's mentality, Thomas dove back into rehab, this time at home. And 3 months later, he walked again. But then fate stepped in for a third time.
So it was January 10th, 2010. We were stopped at a red light at Bell Circle in Revere. And all of a sudden, we got rear-ended. I went into the windshield and I had lost all movement, all progress from December. That day was the worst day of my life. It really sent me into a downward spiral mentally, and depression set in, suicidal thoughts set in. And again, I didn't know if I wanted to live, and at night I sometimes prayed that I didn't want to get up in the morning.
But hockey players don't ever quit. And with the love and strength of his family and close friends, the Thomas E. Smith Foundation was formed. Its goal is to support the paralysis community, focusing on things like medical research, patient advocacy, and cutting-edge physical therapy like Journey Forward in Canton.
Journey Forward is the most comprehensive, aggressive rehabilitation facility for people with paralysis in New England.
And the reason for that is Dan Cummings.
Dan is a beacon of hope for the paralysis community.
Before I broke my neck, you see someone in a wheelchair, you didn't really know. You just kind of, oh, hi, how are you? Maybe a little uncomfortable. But now, I see someone in a wheelchair, it's almost like an immediate special connection.
And Dan has that special connection with everyone at Journey Forward, because like them, he deals with paralysis. A spinal cord injury at 19 from diving in a pond. Dan was told he'd never walk again, but he did walk and formed Journey Forward to give the paralysis community hope.
We do give them hope, and we give them an opportunity. That's the word I always like to use, an opportunity. An opportunity to overcome this situation. An opportunity to get better.
And now Dan has given Thomas an opportunity to do what he's done before, complete the Boston Marathon. In 2008, before his injuries, Thomas ran Boston. But now, as part of the Journey Forward Marathon team, he's going to walk the 26.2 miles.
I think it's an amazing story. I'm appreciative that he's doing it. I'm appreciative that he's doing it for Journey Forward. I'm proud to have him a part of our team. And it's a remarkable.
Remarkable describes everyone at Journey Forward. Looking for a reason to support their cause? Thomas sums it up best.
This is an unwanted family, but because we're here, because the injuries have happened to us, we're trying to make the best out of a horrible situation, so it's really just everyone trying to work together.
Quite the story for Thomas Smith and an amazing, amazing group of people over at Journey Forward. If you'd like to support their cause, go to journey/forward.org, journey/forward.org, and find out more.